Praise the Lord. This is my second video. I made a first one, but I found out I didn't have all my facts straight. So I'm remaking it because I want to make sure that I'm factual if I put something out. We're in great trouble here in America, spiritually, and we have a very evil president. And I really truly believe God is ticked off. "9/11" around 9 o'clock at night, you know, Obama went to Vegas and had his campaign thing. But at 9 o'clock that night is when the ambush, the terrorist, I want to mainly say terrorist attacked, come on Benghazi. This young man Woods and another guy had asked for help. Well, the ambassador had asked for help before, weeks before this happened, and our government wouldn't give it. In fact, downsized them. These two young men were told by an executive order. That's president. He makes the executive order to stand down. But they disobeyed. And where they were at was about a mile from where the ambassador was at. There's two places. And when this all began, this one that was there with the ambassador put him in the safe house to protect him, in the safe room, which when they set fires and things, well, they couldn't stay there. The smoke drove them out of the safe room. And what I'm telling you is what I hear on the news. And you all should hear it, listen. But I have a good memory. Because at one point when this first happened, they said that our ambassador had been raped. The most degrading thing that you can do to a human being, man or woman. And that's what happened. But in the end, the ambassador died because of everything that was done to him. The other man died there. But these two men went a mile on foot fighting their way to where the ambassador was, because at that point he was still alive. And they went to rescue the rest of the people at that compound and brought them back to where they were, to get them out of the country, to get them to the airport, to get them out of the country. They had laser beams on all of the material that was going on, on these these guns and these things that they were using to break into the compound. And I want you to know, remember, that this place had been attacked twice before. But yet the executive order was to stand down and withdraw, leaving the ambassador out. To me, it's just mind-boggling to see in real time what was going on, because by the time this was over with, the president was back in Washington, and he was seen in the White House that night with Hillary Clinton and the vice president, and they were in the room where they meet and watch all of this stuff go down. Remember, they had real time when our SEALs went in and killed bin Laden. They seen it real time. And remember, there was a drone that was flying over there in Bosnia in the actions, and they were getting pictures in real time. I mean, the president, the vice president, and the Secretary of State was sitting there, and others watching this unfold in real time. Watching everything. And as this young man pleaded for help, because some of the last words he said, help didn't come. Because, see, he really thought if he would do what he was supposed to do as a SEAL, as a serviceman, to protect. And he was trained to do that. That was what he was trained to do, to protect. And he was told by the president to stand down. But he disobeyed orders, and he went to save lives. And there were some that he did save. There was some that got out of that. But our ambassador died in the most hideous way. 3 others died, giving their life to protect this man. I truly believe it was a sacrificial offering that our president himself, with the okay of the vice president and secretary of state, they're all in agreement. They were there, they were watching. If I'd have been secretary of state, I would have looked at the president and said, no, I can't stand this. No. I would have left the room, and I would have spilled my guts to the United States what kind of man he was. But no, they okay it. Pat him on the back. Did a good job. You gave the sacrifice to the Muslims and to whatever other gods are out there that you may worship. And now, think about it. We have now a storm coming in. I'm making a video. We've seen a storm coming in, angry, a violent storm coming in on the election. And they're wondering what they're going to do, because electricity is supposed to be knocked out and everything, and they don't know exactly about what they're going to have to do for those states during the election. God is angry because Obama sacrificed these men as a sacrifice to seal a bargain that he has made with many over there. That would be the only reason why he would give an executive order. Why he would withdraw troops from around there and leave them hanging out there on a limb to die for his purpose and the good of Obamacare. Because you see, in Obamacare, there is a law that states that we all have to be chipped sooner or later. And it's part of the healthcare thing. It's a law. If you don't take it, you can suffer the consequences. What do you think the FENA camps are out there and stuff for? This has all been planned. The blood sacrifices have been going on for a while now, throughout this whole year. And before, but especially this year. And this was almost like the end of the sacrifices. The big, not really the end of them, but this was the climax of a certain process of sacrifices given. And God is ticked off. The storm that's coming in on the East Coast is a judgment. I really believe. I know some of you will go, oh yeah, you guys out there are always saying it's God's judgment. It's God's judgment. Yeah, it is. Look at what this president has done. He totally okays abortion and taking innocent lives. He's not the only one that has done this, but he really has made it plain. He stands for gay marriages. He stands with the Muslims in the guise of Christianity. He uses Christianity as a cloak. That's how wolves and sheep clothing come along, They dress as the sheep, but they're really ravenous wolves on the inside, because he's a Muslim. And not the good kind. I'm talking about the bad kind, the terrorist kind. And yes, I believe he will be elected. I pray I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, but I still believe that he will be reelected. That's why the UN is being brought over. Because when the circumstances all unfold and he gets back into office, and I really don't believe he'll have the popular vote. Maybe I'm wrong about that too, but maybe there's enough people out there and all of the that will stand for him. But I do know that he will win by the electoral votes. I really believe that. I believe it, or I wouldn't say it. And I could be wrong, but I believe that's why the UN is coming in to make sure that America cannot rise up and go, oh no, this can't happen. We don't want you. Your voice is going to show up on the video. He's talking to the dogs. So, but I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed today. It's a disturbing time. Sacrifices have been made for whatever reason, showing the Muslim world that our president stands with them, just like the Afghanistans, That's the reason why a lot of our soldiers don't want to go out on the field with the Afghanis that they have trained, because the Afghanis kills them sometimes. We've seen it. It's been on the news. Because the Al-Qaeda is in the mountains, and they know the minute that we pull out, they're going to come back in. They have in Libya, and our president has gave them a sacrifice, letting them know that he will back them. He will stand for them. He stood for them in Egypt. He stands for them all the time. He don't even want to mention the word terrorist. That's the reason why they come out with the big lie about the video and saying, oh, it's just a protest against the video. No, it was a terrorist group, pre-planned, and I have come to believe our president knew about it. That's the reason why he gave the executive order to stand down. So it could happen. He told this young man, the others, to stand down and not to help. And there was four generals that have been part of the military service come on the news and said that this was an executive order, that the president is trying to blame the CIA and the military for not sending in the troops. But see, they can't just send them in. It takes an executive order to send them in, just like when with bin Laden. You know, when the SEALs went in to take him, they got ready, they got prepared, but they couldn't move until the executive order come and the president said go in. These young men that gave their life, they went from an area that was a mile away. They come down and they fought their way through the streets into where the ambassador was, where they couldn't find him. But they took other people out and brought him back, and even helped him to the point that they would go back. This thing started at 9 o'clock at night and didn't end till 4 o'clock in the morning. The president had made it back from Vegas in his campaign tour, and him and his little cohads was sitting in there in real time, watching it going down and hearing for the pleas of help, and the president's giving executive orders saying stand down. Stand down is mean don't go in, don't help. And he watched with his own eyes. He had made it back to the White House because he was seen in the White House with the Secretary of State and the Vice President watching this thing go down. So now we wonder why God would be so ticked off and send a storm of that's going to come in. It's going to hit the East Coast. It's going to hit Washington, D.C., New York. Power is going to go down. And then we have this election that's supposed to be going on at the same time. People are not going to be able to vote in those few states where their electricity be totally knocked down. we're in a bad storm all the way around. A storm coming in from the ocean, a hurricane, Sandy, and a storm in our government that has paid the ultimate price of sacrifice to whomever these agreements was made to over there. I have come to determine that our president is such an evil man. He is that wolf in sheep's clothing. He is a terrorist Muslim, in my opinion, in sheep's clothing, pretending to be a Christian. Oh, he knows how to talk the talk to gain people. But this storm is coming in as a sign and warning of what's coming to America. I really believe that. And when Obama is reelected, all these things that he has put in place will take effect. See, he doesn't have to worry about ever running for a president again. And more than likely, he could be the last president. The storm is here. The storm that we see that's coming in represents the storm that's coming upon this world, period. The storm of evil that's coming. God is sending this storm in on election day, appropriate moment, letting us know that it is only the beginning. We are in trouble. But you know what? In all the midst of this trouble, and though my heart is sick for the ambassador and what happened to him, because I remember right at the first, it even come out that he had been raped. You know, that's the most horriblest thing that can happen to a human being, or one of the most horriblest things. It's a way of torture, you know, in the most humiliating degree. So this ambassador suffered a storm of unspeakable results, much like the physical storm that's coming in, Sandy, upon the East Coast. We need to wake up and give our heart to Yeshua HaMashiach. He's the only one that can help us throughout this. We, as His, need to render ourselves totally to Him for protection. This storm that's coming in on election is just a sign letting us know that the great storm of the world is about to happen. And God is angry. Yes, He is. Because we have permitted a man to take us down the great road of sin, like so many other crazy leaders. Nero. Yes, I agree with that analogy. You know, Nero fiddled while he watched Rome burn. Nero was the one that would put Christians on the stake and light them on fire to give light to his palace. We have FINA camps that's already been built, that's waiting for us, that will protest Obama getting reelected the way he will be reelected. And we will protest when the UN comes knocking at our door to take our guns. We will either yield to the will of the president, or we will be put in concentration camps. The storm is already upon us. And the one that's coming in on election day, and people are trying to get ready for it and boarding up their homes and stuff. We need to start boarding up our hearts. And one thing I have to say, you see, this is a Bible. I say this to the people that say that this is the mark of the beast, that we shouldn't read it, that it's evil. Let me tell you something. This is the Word of God. This is an instruction manual for us. Like, if you go buy a new thing that you don't know nothing about, like I bought a new convection oven, there is an instruction manual in there that tells me how to operate that thing. And without the instruction manual, it would be like guessing, poking buttons and wondering how I should operate this thing. It sends a manual out exactly how to operate it, how to clean it, how to take care of it. This is our instruction book. Yeah, it talks about the mark of the beast in it because he's coming. He's coming. Every prophecy that's in this Bible is either has already been fulfilled or is being fulfilled right now before our eyes. You may not want to believe it, but it's an instruction book on how we should live, how we should take care of ourselves, and how we should operate in the spiritual giftings that he gave us to operate in. It's an instruction book by him to us. Now, you may want to call it 666, and you may say, I worship this Bible. No. I worship the person that spoke the words that inspire people to put down on his instructions. I don't worship the Bible. I worship Yahweh, God, the only one God, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. That's who I worship. But I read my instruction book daily. So there's so much evil stuff that's going on in this world. And it's growing. People are turning their back on Yeshua and upon his word. Our president has turned his back and put on sheep's clothing and pretending to be what he is not. The vice president goes along with him. And our Secretary of State goes along with him. That's why he chose the people that he chose to run on his team. But yes, I believe he will be elected, and I pray that he's not. But nevertheless, things will happen, and I don't fear. I really don't. It's just that I'm sad at heart. The price that people have already paid for this, and the price that many more people will have to pay in the long run for the glory of this man. So, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But prepare yourselves. Prepare. Give your heart to Yeshua. Let him be your covering and your protection. Because this government won't protect us. It will destroy us. Who that believes in Jesus Christ, Yeshua. It will try to destroy us. We are in the last days. And the great storm, a storm beyond words, is coming upon this world. And God is bringing the storm to the East Coast as only a representation of what's going to be happening soon to the whole world. Plus, his judgment on the East Coast. Upon Washington, D.C. and New York and all of that area down into there, the East Coast. Judgment has come for what will happen. Father, in the name of Yeshua, let people wake up. Let them give their hearts to you. Let them turn to you, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. Let them turn to you and come into your likeness in your heart. That we will stand no matter what. That we will stand for your glory in the most difficult times and hours. When the storm is raging around us, let us stand for you, praising you, giving our life for you if necessary, to stand for your righteousness and your goodness against all of this evil that's coming. The great storm that's going to be unleashed upon this world. Prepare us spiritually. Prepare us in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach.